Caleb Scherer on the right. And actually, Living End, we'll have to take a look at some tiebreakers.
Yeah, from 12
Yeah,
and 2.
this is a pair down.
Yeah. Gustav certainly would have preferred to be paired against somebody that could take a draw in this matchup, though. Caleb Scherer, not that somebody.
So it looks like we do have intentional draws on the top two tables. So Jim Davis and Jeff Hoagland into top 8, along with Ryan Ferries on Burn. Our fourth player we know in, Brett Cohen playing Tron.
Okay. Already a good amount of diversity in that top 8. That's 4 archetypes. And these two do not match any of them.
Yeah, so we will have a fifth one.
That's often what you're going to see in Modern.
Yeah, Gustav Linner, right, he is at 12 and 2. Now, scanning over the standings here, I don't know how he got to 12 and 2 with it, but his tiebreakers are actually worse than every X3 player in the field.
Okay.
So, remember how I said there was going to be like these players in 20th who are Gustav, despite having 12 and 2, the strength of his opponents over the tournament just hasn't been, by tiebreaker, hasn't been as high. This is just a straight win and in and a loss and out for him as well.
Yeah, you imagine a situation where he picked up losses early in the tournament and then just kept winning from there.
Caleb winning the die roll on the play. Serum Visions, looking at choice between Past in Flames and Electromancer.
Inevitably, he wants to get a mana creature online. The counterplay that Gustav has to that would be to Violent Outburst and do the instant speed Living End.
It's always scary here to Caleb to double top off the scry. And if he knows he's against Living End, why not? Let's just make Goblin Electromancer, put him to the test.
Yeah. And this threatens a turn 3 win. And Gustav's not able to put too many things in the graveyard before potentially being able to Simian Spirit Guide a turn 2 Living End. As of now, there's 0 creatures in the graveyard. Got to figure he'll be cycling 1 here at the end step, though. And as is typically stock, he is on 4 Simian Spirit Guides, so the turn 2 potential for the combo is online. And also, Caleb playing the Goblin Electromancer, that's a target for Demonic Dread. So that turns that online if he does have Simian Spirit Guide.
Desert Ceradon cycled for Gustav Linner. Now, those you watching, seems like there must be a lot of Living End in this tournament. Just the 2 players making it into day 2, but both of them with, well, I guess 5 losses all tournament between the 2 of them.
Yeah. Doing pretty well for themselves. There is a Simian Spirit Guide in Gustav's hand.
So he can Simian Spirit Guide, Demonic Dread, that Electromancer. Now, it's not going to be that impressive of a Living End, as he only gets a Desert Ceradon back. But it kind of shows how scared he is in this matchup of just that fast combo.
Yeah, he deals with Goblin Electromancer, which was the big goal for this.
Right, so Goblin Electromancer will be in the graveyard, and Desert Ceradon will be into play. Not a win for Gustav by any means, but we'll keep him from losing on the untap.
Not a game win, anyway.
Yeah.
A favorable exchange.
Agreed. On Caleb's side, third land and a pass. And he can actually afford to take some hits here.
Though, you can make the argument that Caleb, he's being a little punished for committing that creature into Demonic Dread.
Right, because if there's no creature, Gustav actually just can't cast Demonic Dread.
Right.
A swing for 6 drops Caleb to 14. Beast Within is in Gustav's hand as well. See if he wants to make any kind of play there. Third land and a pass.
Saving that for an Electromancer or a Baral makes some sense to me. Stone Raining a land, probably not of huge consequence.
Pyretic Ritual from Caleb. This is likely setting up a Gifts Ungiven.
Yeah.
And Gustav is going to Beast Within the land. Now Caleb will fold a blue in response. And we're still going to get 3 red. Caleb casting Gifts Ungiven.
I think that Beast Within was pretty aggressive. Don't know what the leftovers are in Caleb's hand, but the Storm deck, they do have that configuration where they can go find both mana creatures, and Caleb's usually on Noxious Survival. Yep, there's 1 copy there, so you can guarantee access to a mana creature if that's what he's missing. And any land with some rituals can really go off from here.
Yeah, Caleb already has Past in Flames in his hand. That was one of his scries off that Serum Visions.
Minus a land makes it tough to go off without a mana creature.
Yeah, what I do like, Caleb has Remand in his hand. So what he could actually gifts for here is just a bunch of value. He can chump block for a turn, remand another lip. Like if there's any other plays, he's got time.
He can take some time just attacking with the Beast. And then if he makes
Sure.
some land drops, gets some rituals, maybe only has to Grape Shot for 11.
Yeah, Caleb can go down to, I think he can safely go down to 2. He can take 2 Desert Ceradon hits.
Yeah.
There's nothing
I mean,
going to punish that out
Gustav
of
could double Violent Outburst on that attack.
Okay. All right, that's...
Not
cross
likely.
that road when it happens.
Right. I don't know, cast a Simian Spirit Guide next turn and
Yeah.
attack for a little bit more.
Caleb taking a while on this decision. Having lost the land, maybe he has to mix up what he's going for. Looks like we see Baral, Unsubstantiate, Goblin Electromancer, and Spire Bluff Canal. A real interesting 4 cards.
So this is actually really intriguing now at this stage in the game, because if he unsubstantiates a Ceradon, now Gustav has no clock, and Caleb just has a graveyard full of mana creatures. So if Gustav Living-Ends again, then Caleb just gets to go off, assuming that, we already know he has Past in Flames, doesn't take much on top of that.
No, if you give him 2 mana creatures, it's not gonna take anything. So this is a really interesting pile.
Yeah, I don't know that you can give Caleb the Unsubstantiate here, though. It's also tenuous ever giving him a mana creature.
If you give him both mana creatures, he can double block your Ceradon. You can kill it.
I see.
It's not even that terrible.
Yeah.
He will put both mana creatures in the graveyard, giving Caleb Unsubstantiate and Spire Bluff Canal. So, back to Caleb we will go. Unsubstantiate was the we know he has that. He has Remand. Plays the Canal. He has a 4th land in hand. It's a snow-covered island. And he'll just pass. Not taking that hit off 3 suggests he might be chump blocking here.
Seems like the line he's setting up is just unsubstantiating the Ceradon, at which point the attack is pretty free.
Yeah, and I like what you said about that. Because now there's so many... There's a Baral and 2 Electromancers in the graveyard.
Past in Flames cost 1. There's already a Gifts Ungiven in the graveyard.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you can cast Living End. Caleb's going to go ahead and chump block with his 3/3. For Gustav, Simian Spirit Guide. He's going to try for Archfiend of Ifnir. Remand. We'll put that back in Gustav's hand. And we'll just move on.
And with Gustav casting more creatures, that makes the Unsubstantiate plan worse.
Yeah, 2 rituals now in Caleb's hand. Yes, Past in Flames, 2 rituals, and an Unsubstantiate. There's a 5th card hiding out there. Don't have a good look on that one. But I guess it's good enough that Caleb's going to wait yet another turn.
What I wanted to see Caleb do was attack last turn and this turn with that Beast token, at which point Gustav would be at 11. I think he can safely go to 2 here.
Yeah. Well, he's at 4. He's going to just go ahead and unsubstantiate the attack here. He's kept his life total very high. At 14 here, he chumped last turn.
If he has the second copy of Remand, then he's in quite good shape.
Gustav's going to try
All right.
Archfiend again, and it gets remanded again.
Never mind me.
And this... Caleb, is it just 2 remands in the main?
Yep.
Okay, well, there they are.
Yeah.
And we might see a combo turn now, land 5 from Caleb. I guess we might, but we might not. I mean...
A lot of his mana creatures are in the graveyard.
Well, I mean, but what's the right if he waits, Gustav?
He also just has time.
Yeah, he has so much time. Manamorphose from Caleb Scherer. Draws him into another land. It's a Steam Vents. And sure, he'll just pass. It's always better to combo with more mana in play. Might as well wait.
Yep.
Gustav still doesn't have land 5. He actually made those last 2 attempts at Archfiend off of Simian Spirit Guides. So, we'll see if he has any plays that still make sense. He can cycle. He'll cycle an Archfiend to try to find something. He'll cycle Street Wraith going to 15. I don't think he's hit that land yet.
Not looking like it, but most of his deck is going to be redraws if he just wants to make that this turn. He can cycle some more things.
Yeah, it's hoping to find a land drop so that he can start jamming creatures on the next turn. Not great. He just passes back to Caleb, who has all the time in the world.
Yes.
Shocking for Steam Vents Land 6. That suggests
he
we're
is
going to...
not interested in that time.
Yeah. Pyretic Ritual, and here we go. Spell number 1 for Caleb. Plenty of mana over the top here.
Yeah, I think there's at least one more ritual in hand, and Pass in Flames. Ooh, he has Grape Shot in hand as well.
Yeah, this should work. Desperate Ritual, spell 2, up to 4 mana. Past in Flames, spell 3. Everything has flashback.
Caleb's played a lot of Storm. He's moving like he has it. If he made those beast attacks, it's very easy to get to 9 from here,
yeah.
but 15 is not that high of a number.
Now, 4th spell is the flashed back Pyretic Ritual. 5th spell is another flashback ritual, up to 4 red. Still 2 lands that he has not used. He's going to cash out all these rituals from the graveyard. So first he starts with all the mono red rituals, Pyretics and Desperates. Now through those, he'll go on to his Manamorphoses. So he'll end his rituals with 3 red, 2 blue, and has cast 7 spells here. Picked up his other Past in Flames.
That's not a good one.
And we'll go for some cantrips now. Here is Serum Visions out of the graveyard from Caleb. Finds Gifts Ungiven. Scry of 2 with Baral in a land. I don't think he wants that. Well, I'll decide if he wants those. Maybe. I put them back because I don't think it matters.
He has Remand with flashback. He has 2 lands on tap, so he can Grape Shot, remand the last copy, cast Grape Shot. Those cards on the top don't matter.
Right, so here's we go Grape Shot. There's a Storm trigger on the stack, so Storm is set to 8 copies. Caleb remands the original copy, so that's spell, and then he will cast the Grape Shot again. So the first Storm resolves for 8, the second one resolves for 10, and then the original means it's 19 Grape Shots going at Gustav, and that's bigger than 15. Should head us to game 2.
Yep.
And Caleb able to just walk that one in all the way up to 6 land drops, keeping himself at 14 life.
Yeah, things a little dicey for a second, but was able to push Gustav off of that 6/4 creature and come out with the full combo.
So far, so good for Caleb Scherer, trying to get into that top 8. Let's take a look at each player's sideboard. My first question is going to be, this from game 1 is not a great matchup for Living End. He has a couple ways he can approach this out of the sideboard. What do you like in it?
Yeah, so the sideboard is 4 Fulminator Mage, 3 Dead Gone, 3 Ingot Chewer, 3 Leyline of the Void, a Slaughter Games, and a Ricochet Trap.
Right.
The best card here probably going to be those Leyline of the Voids. Storm very frequently does want use of the graveyard to go for their full combo, so that's going to be impactful. The Dead Gone's the only deal with Goblin Electromancer. There's some argument to have access to that, though not being able to hit Baral with them is a problem. I actually like Slaughter Games.
Yeah, so I was wondering how stock this sideboard is. So we're looking at, I guess, the only other list we have, which is Jody Keith. Jody Keith also has 1 Slaughter Games here. So if Caleb has read up on this, it could be on his radar. The Ricochet Trap, Jody's not playing any of that. But yeah, the one of Slaughter Games, pretty good, right?
Yeah, just name Grape Shot.
Yeah.
What's Caleb going to do? Ricochet Trap doesn't matter too much. You can fight over Remand. This is not a deck where that's a lot of what the game is about.
Yeah, I don't know, because Remand, there's only 2 in Caleb's deck, but they are so good against you that maybe you board it in. You said the ley lines.
Yes. Ley lines and the Slaughter Games, I think, are the slam dunks.
I don't think this is a deck you can Fulminator them out, right? Caleb can still combo you off 2 lands. It seems
it's really tough to do that. I mean, on the play, you're more likely. Storm is pretty heavy on basic lands, and if you spend 3 mana and Caleb knows you're not going to Living End him, it's often the case where you can just combo from there.
Sure. And then Dead Gone, I mean, there's only 2 Electromancers that can even hit. I think we're unlikely to see that play.
That one's not so good.
So on Caleb Scheer's side, it's already a good matchup. You see frequently we see Caleb and Paul go for pieces of the puzzle out of the sideboard. Now, because of how this matchup is, where it's basically a great matchup for Caleb, where he has to dodge a Slaughter Games, I'm not sure how much I care about the kind of value that this card brings.
Yeah, I mean, frequently you just see Storm players go for pieces because it will get you 2 cards, and it's more efficient than Gifts Ungiven, and sometimes you just kind of go on that plan. One thing I will say about Caleb's sideboarding plan, he has that Echoing Truth, that Wipe Away as sideboard options, and those are going to be to fight over Graveyard Hate, and Living End is a deck that's almost always going to have Leyline of the Void as a sideboard card, just because of the restrictions that the deck puts on what you can have in your sideboard. And Leyline is so good against Caleb that there's a strong argument to have access to these bounce spells.
Yeah, that's one of the things I know. You'll talk to Storm players, they say the echoing truth always comes in. They have something.
Yeah.
Especially when you don't have their deck list on paper. It's just kind of a good insurance policy.
Right.
In Caleb's spot, how do you feel about Empty the Warrens? So it's not reliable to win here at all.
I just don't think you ever bring in Empty the Warrens against other decks that combo back. In particular, one where the combo destroys all the goblins.
But so even if you knew about Slaughter Games, are you still... Do you bring... Let's say Caleb suspects Slaughter Games. Does he have to bring in an Empty as a concession to that?
I think he tries really hard to have access to Unsubstantiate.
Right, that actually does counter... Well, it holds it off for a turn.
Right, you buy a turn, and then Gustav's tapped out, and you hope you can combo from there. I just don't think you can ever really win with Empty the Warrens, and drawing it is going to be very bad. It's just because Living End is online with their combo that's also Wrath of God as early as turn 1, easily on turn 3.
Right, to make Empty work, you'd have to build up to a turn where you're emptying for 20 goblins. Like, the idea of I make 8 goblins and chip at you, I just don't think that's real.
Yeah, it'd be different if there was Empty the Warrens deck in Popper for a while that was a turn 2/3 deck that also played Goblin Bushwhacker.
All right, now we're talking about a one-turn
and
kill.
You won on that turn.
Right.
Yeah, that was a huge difference.
I could see that working.
Yeah, the Goblins not having haste they just cost too much in combo matchups.
Well, Gustav mulliganing his first hand. Going to assume we have no Slaughter Games in that.
Assuming we have no Leyline of the Void.
Sure.
Yeah, that's the one he really wants to keep on. Storm can win without a graveyard, but it is tough.
They can't win fast without a graveyard.
Yeah.
That and... I mean, I suppose they could have, some of their double mana creature hands, except that Gustav will always answer those.
Yeah, you're just able to Living End off of that.
Yeah.
Unlike in game 1, there was the issue where Gustav had gotten through that first Electromancer, and then there was gifts for more mana creatures, and he couldn't Living End again because it just brought all the mana creatures back.
Well, right now, Linner mulliganing to 5.
I mean, there's 5-card hands with Leyline that still aren't good enough is actually where I was going.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you can win on 5. I think the primary motivation for mulliganing is Leyline, but if Caleb is heads up about this, he has access to Echoing Truth, Wipe Away. If you're not pressuring him significantly, which is hard to do with a 5-card hand that already has Leyline, Caleb will have a good amount of time to get set up against you.
Yeah, what I do like about Living End on the mulligan is that because all their cards cycle, you in theory could have a Leyline and could still cycle 3 or 4 creatures and make a turn 3 Living End. It gets harder to hard cast your creatures in games where you mulligan, so you're putting a lot more stock in that, specifically your Cascade
this is
spells.
a matchup where you're just almost never going to win by hard casting your creatures.
Right.
You would need the Leyline first, and then that can be good enough.
Oh, see the 5 plays. Don't think he found a Leyline, but does he want to keep searching? No, he'll stop on 5.
Yeah, at some point, you just have to keep lands and spells.
Exactly. That's what he's done. We'll start game number 2 here. Gustav, no Leyline, starts on Blackleaf Cliffs. Now, in the last game, Caleb had both those main deck Remands in the opener. Likely his best card in the matchup.
I believe Caleb just scried Unsubstantiate and Grape Shot to the top.
Yeah, again, this is, Caleb's first turn of the game has been Serum Vision's top go, which...
Risky business.
Oh, when your opponent does that, you're like, man, either they made a mistake or I'm in trouble.
I hope those were lands you needed, but also that means that your hand's already busted.
Because that means you kept a hand that was landlight based on its spells, which I'm not thrilled on that either.
Ooh.
Now, Gustav has drawn Leyline of the Void, and he's going to try to Simian Spirit Guide into it on turn 3.
Now, if Caleb put Unsubstantiated on top, he could just bounce that spell.
He will opt. Now, Leyline of the Void, remember, does not work the same way as Rest in Peace. That Serum Visions in Caleb's graveyard is actually still there.
Hooray!
Yeah, well, actually, I thought we were doing the opt with it on the stack when I started that sentence.
Gotcha.
Like, no, I guess not.
Yeah, mostly it's just the rituals in the graveyard that actually matter.
Right. But yeah, we can flash back that Serum Visions. Don't worry.
Oh yeah. Ritual, Past in Flames, Serum Visions. Your turn.
Monster Scarab cycled for Gustav, finding a 4th land. Grow the Burn Wills and he'll pass. Looks like he has 2 cards remaining, one of which is Beast Within. And Caleb, just like game 1, just slowing down. Not until there's pressure on Gustav's side, he'll just make land drops.
Yep.
And actually, even if he has the Unsubstantiate, Caleb might be okay just letting this Leyline hang out and play for a few turns.
Well, if he he has Echoing Truth or whatever for the Leyline, but if he doesn't have a mana creature, then he probably can't combo anyway. And he's not taking any damage, so whatever.
Beast Within from Gustav. I'm interested in the target. It's going to be his own land.
Time for the beatdowns.
He has to get something going.
Yeah.
This is, as it stands, a 7-turn clock. Going to have to add to that. But it's a start. Here's a swing for 3. Caleb's 2-18. And he'll say go. Caleb, still more land drops. Land 5 is Shivan Reef. Looks like he has land 6 in hand. He's going to keep just setting up. He'll cast Sleight of Hand into that ley line. No problem. Land or land.
And after making this many land drops, Caleb's getting into a position where he might have a Ritual Past in Flames combo without a mana creature if he's able to get the leyline off the battlefield.
Yeah, looks like he has at that front of the hand. I believe that's an Unsubstantiate. So he's just, when he decides it's time to combo, he'll have to cast that on Gustav's end step. But at 15, he decided it's not time yet. Draws land 8. Right. So Unsubstantiate, right. No, Unsubstantiate can't actually, it can hit the Beast token. It's going to cast.
Yeah, it's not an answer to Leyline.
It's not actually an Echoing
He had access to it with the Leyline on the way down, and he declined that, and it's because he doesn't have a combo set up just yet.
Pieces of the puzzle, top 5. Grape Shot. 2 brawls, can't take those. Will he get 2 cards? Yes, he will. Grape Shot, Manamorphose.
It's hard to miss on 5.
Yeah. And really, those are cards he's pretty happy to get.
Yeah, he doesn't maybe love the fact that he exiled 2 brawls there, but, whatever.
Yeah. Discarding Shivan Reef to hand size. Still at a healthy 15 is Caleb. And Beast Token will hit him down to 12. So that 7-turn clock said it wouldn't be fast enough. Well, we're 3 turns in with 4 more to go. Maybe it is.
I mean, eventually that Beast Token gets bounced, right?
I would think so.
There was a circumstance. I mean, if Caleb really cares.
Yeah, I mean, he's holding on to it right now in case Living End shows up, right?
Yeah.
Gustav's Graveyard is faster than a 4-turn clock.
Yes.
So much, man. This is the 7th land drop here for Caleb. He drew Sleight of Hand this turn. And he'll just keep setting up.
It's really amusing how good this 4-mana Leyline
yeah.
Void has been in this game.
Well, does Caleb even have a Past in Flames yet, or is he actually just whiffing on real action?
I don't have a good look at that. I don't know.
I think he's got a bunch of, has 2 ritual, I think he has 2 Grape Shots, 3 rituals, this Baral. I think Caleb's still just waiting for that payoff card.
Sure. In the post-sideboard configuration, when he has pieces of the puzzle, you can just go off from your hand with Baral pretty effectively.
All right, now we have a game. So Caleb started the turn on Sleight of Hand. Spell 2 is Baral, spell 3 is Pyretic Ritual. Now Gustav will put spell 4 on. That's going to be Beast Within targeting the Baral. And yeah, Caleb's reaching for the counters. It's time to track some things.
Yeah, this Beast Within, especially once the ritual is committed, I assume is going to force action on that Unsubstantiate.
In response, Desperate Ritual storms to 5.
Yeah, also you just get to cast rituals in response because they're all instants. He has that Manamorphose left over still.
Manamorphose. So maybe, Ryan, what he can do here, because everything's an instant, can we just go for Grape Shot, Unsubstantiate Grape Shot and try to set up a kill that way?
If he's changed Manamorphoses and he just started to do that, he might have enough.
Yeah. First I thought we were going to unsubstantiate the Beast Within, but maybe now we're going to just win with it.
Right. Yeah, Storm's already at 7. There's a Serum Visions in hand.
You need the first grape shot on 9 and the second one on 11. So you just need. I think he has this, right? That ritual is still on the stack. You let the Beast Within happen. You have 5 mana floating that resolves you. You have 10 mana on the board. That's enough for Serum Visions, Grape Shot, Unsubstantiate, Grape Shot.
Yeah. Yeah, Storm goes to 7, or it's at 7. It goes to 8 off the Serum Visions, and it's 9 for Grape Shot, 10 for Unsubstantiate, 11 for
Grape Shot again.
You missed the point on the first Grape Shot, actually,
right,
because of the Unsubstantiate. So you have to do
resolve.
one more thing, but you just drew a ritual, so that's your one more thing.
Right, yeah, because the first one, the actual Grape Shot itself doesn't resolve.
Right.
That'd be the thing where I would have missed that in the game, and then I would have been like, deal you 20, and my opponent said, deal me 19, and then I'm like, wow, I'm terrible.
That's
okay,
the thing
your
where
turn.
Some of your opponents would miss that.
That's
the other thing.
It depends how confidently I said it.
Yeah. So
now he goes 1 extra, so this is a Grape Shot for 10. Well, Storm will be 9 copies.
Might just have 2 Grape Shots.
Just another Grape Shot? Okay, well, that's easy now.
All right.
And there's another Grape Shot. Caleb Scherer going to be headed to the top 8 here.
Yeah, that's going to close it. And there you see that Caleb Scherer moves on to 12-3. Yep. Gustav's going to fall in 12-3. We'll find out exactly what this means for top 8 implications. As you were saying, Gustav's tiebreaker is pretty horrendous.
Yeah, he falls to 12-3. And a great tournament for him, 12-3 with Living End. I'd be pretty surprised if he makes top 8.
Caleb's tiebreakers, on the other hand, quite good.